of us again. And I would like to thank everybody present here because all of us, you have been a very great and a very patient audience, not just listening but also asking questions about a topic which is very relevant in the present times. And this is now the part that we are going to cover now is about how the zero trust approach can help the governments and systems and organizations in ensuring the cyber safety of every person, which is, I think, that's the biggest public interest at the moment that we are talking about. Because what we've realized in the evening that the scale of the issue is very big, and which is normally dismissed as just, no, this is not my responsibility, this is the IT department's role. You know, that tug of war and that shrugging of responsibility is a very common phenomena. So we've just learnt about the zero trust approach and how this can help in improving systems, sir. Maybe please begin with Ranjan, sir, and talk about, we are in this age of smart cities. And what do we mean by all this smartness if we are not cyber, consistent and compliant, and cyber security needs are not being attended there?
If we talk about the smart city, the concept, this is totally new in Indian context. The smart city concept is about area-based development and theme-based something and how to embed technology in the existing infrastructure to enhance its efficiency. So under the limited resources, you are making your infrastructure more efficient, and it is more relevant for the people, and it is more citizen-centric. So here, you are implementing so many unrelated things to be integrated in one platform. If you look at Lucknow Smart City, so you have done ICCC here, and the way it helped tackling the corona
pandemic.
Pandemic. So we had huge database. It was not meant to deal with those. Many people were there, like I think more than 500, 600 people there on the call. We do not even trust them, who are they and all. And this became a huge network, the technology-based implementation of this smart city. And at the same time, we started implementing safe city projects. Currently, what we are doing, we are trying to implement safe city projects in almost all the districts. Maybe we are starting with the Nagar Nigam, this corporation cities, where the concept is to integrate all kind of applications, camera feeding and all, and make it relevant to fight for the security of the citizen in the night or anything. So there, if you see the zero trust, and also if we see the urban priority, urban sector priority, and the role of the urban sector in achieving 1 trillion economy. So it is more a infrastructure sector. So there we have identified 5-6 sectors. One of the sector is about implementing, extending a smart city concept in all the district headquarters. So complete business paradigm is the government thing is we are trying to reach to the data-driven decision-making position, and in automation. And also, we don't want to miss any expenditure by implementing sustainability, the resilience, so that least wastage is there. So there you have huge database, huge data structure, and it's very difficult, particularly in the government thing, to train people. So I see zero trust technology more as a somewhere the marrying the human behavior with the technology. So implementing morality, ethics, because you are going to identify in a more human way. So it is very, very, when I see this zero trust technology, maybe some extended form, it will be very, very helpful for the government sector. You will require
It's like transparent,
less
like
training. Yes.
biometrics, na? It's like biometrics. I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
it's
something
like
like
that,
that.
because you can surpass any, you can surpass any level, but you cannot do away with the biometrics of it.
Yeah,
It's still
something.
tough like that.
But here,
So,
see the structure of the government, like in the secretariat, you have review officers, section officers. They are not trained very much in the technology, but everywhere you need data and data-driven decision making. So what is happening right now? The very sophisticated technology is coming up, but to maintain that is very difficult. I was just visiting Varanasi yesterday. So I visited one solar plant. So that is Israeli-based company. So their efficiency 99.8 something. So I asked them, कि when you go out of this after implementing these two, who will maintain this? The other person from the Jal Nigam, they are not trained. So somewhere you have to do some automation kind of thing. So if you go deep, zero trust is something, a different technology. This is different from not only cyber security, but it is something like automation also. We reach towards automation also. So I see lot of possibility.
so that safety thing sort of becomes a, a reflex of the system, and it is helping us in saving
Yeah, what is
us from
happening?
various
Suppose
kinds of
suppose some
attacks.
private vendor came, they implemented Prahari, for example, in PWD department. So they are the master of everything.
Yes.
So you are totally slave of them. They are totally dependent on them.
That is
So
very
so if you implement some automation, something you take the things in your domain, it's very easy to maintain and go forward. So we are struggling with this. Everywhere they charge more, and yesterday also we had to call from the Mumbai, the same person, because nobody knows. So somewhere I think this will help in implementing some automation
this
also.
also, and also saving us from depending on third parties.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I remember there was a scam in NEET examination, I think, some medical examination here in UP itself. They had hired an agency to conduct an examination, and
In
that
all
person,
other examination
yeah,
also.
yeah,
Yes,
they,
yes,
they,
yes.
they fudged with the data and then they ran away with it.
I think this
Police.
will create some public interface for our government servants to see particular inside thing.
Yes.
By implementing this zero
Some,
trust. Yeah.
it'll
This is very
improve the
good.
surveillance on
I
that.
think very
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
We talked about that $1 trillion economy, sir. I would come to Mr. Ghosh here, sir. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, sir. Power is one thing which is going to fuel not just the $1 trillion dream, but all the kind of development which maybe sir is planning through his department. So, what is happening there? What is happening as far as the technology is concerned and cybersecurity is concerned, sir?
Yeah. The first example is the guy who is speaking, because see, UPPCL, I think, is the first company in the state government across India, because in PSU, I come from a PSU. I was with NTPC earlier before I took over this charge as a full-time director. This is the only company in government across all state governments which has recruited a director IT.
Oh.
So that means that the first focus is they want to set right the whole systems in place. And as you can understand, as I'm talking, we are trying to have these smart meters in place. So it's a machine-to-machine interface. Now, already 66 lakhs meters have been awarded in my. There are 5 discoms, distribution companies. So we are serving around 3.25 crore of consumers across UP state, and that's a huge. And we are increasing to the tune of about 1.5 lakh every month. So that is the trajectory we are going. And as you understand, as we are going forward, we need to revamp the complete security of our infrastructure that we are coming. And when I talk about the complete security and infrastructure, it comes from the basics. Like for the desktops I have, so that was taken in RP DRP about 10 years back. Now, as Gagan was telling that, he rightly said, infrastructure. Though we want that immediately, I have to go for a tender. It involves a lot of money. When I talk of money, it is around 20,000 desktops I have to change. Now, that is not small amount of money. So at that level, and as we go ahead, we are supposed to take care of our policies. So we have implemented a lot of security in place, but as we go ahead, because a lot of implementations on IT is there. So if you see, now we are collating all these things. Now we used to run our data center, it was a complete on-prem. That is a DC and DR. DC data center at our Lucknow and a DR at Noida. Now from that we have moved ahead, and as we talk, we have moved ahead around 1 crore of our consumers to the Oracle Cloud infrastructure at Mumbai with a DR at Hyderabad. Now it's a hybrid. Now we are having our own data center where certain things are running. We are going for our revenue management system on the cloud, as well as the applications on another cloud that we have on Azure, as we talk. Now all these things, as I was talking, now we have set our SOC and NOC is in the process. We have hired out a consulting which will guide us on the steps to take forward on our total security journey. But we have implemented our SIEM for our ERP, because we are accessing our ERP, the S4HANA, over our directly on the internet. So this public IPs, this is definitely a very, very, you can breach the security, and today everybody knows that breaching a firewall is also not that difficult. So when you come to SLDCs, because we are also taking care of my state load research centers, now the CA guidelines are there. So, some companies have been hired out which are taking care. And all of us know, at least Zscaler knows, apart from the internet traffic, we need to implement very high-end technologies also, like people are talking about, we have not implemented, but data diodes. So, now even the air gap, people say are not enough. So people used to say there's an air gap. That means I am not on internet on my A. But that is not sufficient, because the air gap is also a misnomer. When you are letting out systems, like if somebody plugs in on his Bluetooth and you don't have control on the Bluetooth, you should be able to, interface with your PC. How do you block that? So you need to have your H point, devices or endpoint security in place. So all these technologies are coming, but as we go on to the zero trust, at least the internet traffic accessing onto your whichever servers you are exposing to the internet, that's this is one of the technological marvels that have taken place. Zscaler we are also evaluating as at UPPCL, and this is one thing to go forward. But as we are doing our consulting, so definitely some recommendations will be in place from there. But today, the whole industry, UPPCL, for example, where I handle the IT part, so there, if you do not have the technology in place, you can be breached. And if you are breached today, because your meter data, and you already know, I don't know how many people know it from here, there was a, white hacker we call, Assam government, they breached their meters, smart meters. So, and we are talking on crores of meters that will be on machine-to-machine interface, where you can really, if some rogue element, as we call, they entertain, because the power sector is not only supplying you to your homes, but very critical infrastructure, strategic.
Absolutely.
So data centers, if they are breached, immediately everything goes to a hang. So we need to protect ourselves to, see that the whole industry goes ahead and stays alive. So that is as important as that, and zero trust definitely, at least from the internet traffic, it's a very good implementations, but definitely the architecture, as I myself put the question, zero trust also needs to be safe. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Katkar, for joining us this evening, sir. My question to you is, with governments thinking and talking and, of all these high-end security systems and also zero trust approach, so what kind of business opportunity do you see in this scenario, sir?
So first of all, thank you so much for giving such a wonderful platform. And DIG cyber crime, yet one message he has definitely passed is 1930, right?
Yes, nobody should forget 1930, please.
Sure. In fact, since in the last 2 hours we are speaking about the cyber security, Uh, One thing we spoke about is the consumer side, right? The citizen side cybersecurity, where a lot of actions are taken. But there is the other side. And DIG Cybercrime has mentioned that there is a lot of lack of awareness about cybersecurity in the citizens. Now, when the same citizen, if he happens to be an employee of a government department, and when he works in the government department, we have to assume that there is an implicit trust. So implicit trustment is taken granted that he is an employee, so he is safe and secure. Now, we spoke about, Ranjan sir spoke about the smart cities, we spoke about the agriculture department, we spoke about the power distribution department. If you go back to the history, there are lots of attacks which has happened because of the, because of the intern employees. Just to give an example, couple of years back, Calcutta airport was down almost for 8 hours, 6 to 8 hours. And when they realized what's the root cause, it was one of the laptop of an employee which got compromised. And through that laptop, hacker got into the firewall and then choked the entire switch, which caused the entire halt of the airport. The flight were not flying for almost 6 to 8 hours. Second incident is AIMS.
Very recent.
Recent incidents of AIMS. And then they realized, of course, this is the public domain news, one of the doctors, VPN, one of the doctors' laptop got compromised, and hackers got into that laptop, and through that one they got into the center application. So on one side, government is trying to, bring in lot of schemes, right? And as a result of that, things such as smart cities is coming up, things such as we spoke about the developments into the agriculture departments. But two things are happening. One is data, and second is the integration of the systems. Now, these are the two things. If they are compromised, just you can imagine what will happen. We are speaking about $1 trillion economy by 2027, which is a very ambitious task, and we are inviting the investors. It's very important for us to make sure that we protect our own departments. That's very, very important. And when we talk about zero trust, let me give a small example, and all of you can understand, when you go to the airport, especially for the international travel, the moment you enter the airport, you showcase them their identification. Then you go inside, then you have go to the check-in counters, you show your passport. And once you show the passports, you go inside, your luggage gets checked, right? And then once you go inside your gate, once again there is one more check-in. So there are 4 kinds of check-in which is there. Now what if you use the same concept, and the same concept is given to the employees who is the government employees, the state government employees. If I use the same concept, when user access internet, or when user access internal applications, or when workloads access the internet application, then the zero trust concept comes into the picture. So as far as the business opportunities are concerned, definitely it's a partnership, right? It's a collaboration by means of which we can make sure that each and every state department, right, which is responsible for things such as smart cities, power distributions, road transports, right? Every department we can definitely contribute through this partnership and collaboration, and make sure the dream, the ambitious dream of $1 trillion economy, we can be a catalyst in terms of fulfilling that particular ambition.
Very well said, sir. It is very essential that private players do participate and join the path for development of our nation, especially cybersecurity, considering the kind of scale. I mean, to be very honest, this evening, I mean, I never thought the scale of the problem or the quantum of the vulnerability can be this big. So numbers are like scary. I mean, 65 lakh farmers a while ago, Sanjay Bhusreddy Saab told us. He told us about the power department data, and he's one department which is like a cover to the other departments. So, and also the general life as well. Okay, I would appreciate your role, and I would thank you again for this enlightening session here for us. I would come back to Ranjan sir on one thing, sir. I mean, you know, transition is not an easy thing, right? So while on one hand the needs are so high, the mindset of the workforce available in the government departments is, I mean, they have different levels of knowledges and, you know, different approach to that kind of work. So will a zero trust model, you know, will there not be any kind of resistance from them कि ये क्या करा रहे हैं, you know?
I tell you,
Yeah.
already,
And what is the solution?
already lot of expectation from the policy side. Look at the Amrut, which I am SMD of that. You have to implement a SCADA system, OCEMS, where we can see live all the STPs, 49 STPs, the quality of water from our dashboard. So already expectation is too high. We are monitoring the flow rate of the water treatment plant and everything. And in all the projects, that is mandatory now. So what is happening? One Saurabh Srivastava, he is well known, so he is put in charge of everything. He will look after all the technology. What I am looking at this zero trust thing, this may give rise to some automation so that only Saurabh, we are not dependent on Saurabh, unless and until, see, we reach to the most efficiency. We expect in 1 year, if we can spend more than 4,000 crores in, say, Jal Nigam, that could be the ideal situation. But because of these bottlenecks, because our whole machinery, they are not trained, maybe because of that stuck up. So we are spending much lesser than that. So we are losing opportunity in the time zone. So if we can implement something automatic, like the computer operator, we cannot trust more because of security and all. If we can implement something where the computer operator we can trust upon. So they are easily available everywhere. So what we can do, implement these protocols and all, and trust, we can do trust on that, so that that can be, implementation could be many times. So the expectation is already there, so it's not very transitional. Now we have reached a high-tech time where this smart city, basically the concept of smart city is to showcase, look, the way we implement this smart city, we are spending some 1,000 crores. So why not you take these protocols and the success stories and these dashboards and all to implement everywhere. Bring private sectors, look at the revenue opportunities, market opportunity, business opportunity into this. So if, just imagine some data, one data is talking to another data, if you can transform the decision making completely into data, completely digitized, there is two parts of this, e-governance. So if you implement E without governance, so somewhere the security problem, see, the vendor went off with all the data. So if we can secure that, we cannot, we do not know he has already taken away all the data. So, so these kind of technologies will take care automatically that your data are intact, well taken care of, and they are implemented a scale. They can be scaled up. They can be integrated to other thing already, and they can be integrated to very highly secured data of the police department or other thing. See, finally we have to reach a situation where people-centric, inclusive growth, we have to reach towards that. So inclusive growth means we have to bring into this the the best ticket to have inclusive growth is data, is technology.
True.
See, just imagine you have implemented completely the internet-based system, data-driven system.
The public
So even a
distribution
person
system,
in
yeah.
Jhuggi Jhopdi, he can take services, any services from there.
Yeah, absolutely.
We are not able to implement because of lot of uncertainty, lot of misunderstanding,
And
the
vested
security
interests.
things. Yeah.
And vested interests.
No, vested interest is not there. Lack of knowledge and these things. So I think I see somewhere some possibilities of implementing these kind of technology to move fast.
Well, thank you so much for that. You very well. You were talking about something marrying that technology with available workforce also, because we are also short of a lot of people, a lot of vacancies in departments,
So
and
I tell
yeah.
you what is happening. If you give 100 crores to some ULV, so they say, I have spent that 100 crores. So how to know that it is qualitatively this is implemented? So these can be the miring, this morality, ethics, justice, judgment, everything. So this is a new concept, I can see it. So we can implement something where automatically we are assured it is 100% efficiently and it is implemented. Somewhere there are a lot of complaint like कि 66 लाख की जगह 10 लाख खर्च किया 56 नहीं खर्च किया. At least you can know कि किया है इतना. Quality is some other layer. So this is somewhere, that's why I said na, कि the marrying the technology with human thing. That is a big hope, like big thing I can see from these kind of technology. So this is automation at the same time this is the very specific human based.
Okay. I'll come back to Mr. Ghosh, sir. Actually, this is a very common problem. You know, one very common link of cyber frauds is the power department bill. They'll send us SMS that your power department bill is still pending and you have not come for the last date. Click on this link and do that. So, a short while ago, Dr. Kolanchi told, yeah. He told us about to just doubt and. नहीं नहीं वो तो 40,000 का आना अपनी जगह है, लेकिन उसके बाद वहाँ से जामतारा पहुँच जाना वो अलग बात है. है ना, वो जामतारा से आया है या आपके डिपार्टमेंट से आया है, ये सर ये बड़ा मसला होता है लोगों के साथ में. आप बताइए इसमें व्हाट सजेशन वुड यू लाइक टू गिव अस एट द इंडिविजुअल लेवल, बिकॉज बिफोर वी डायल 1930 एंड रीच द पुलिस.
Police is already over.
है ना, what do we do मतलब at our levels?
In fact, this is I mean, very pertinent question, and we are also grappling with it. But what we have done is basically, I mean, never, as I said, zero trust. So it is also zero trust from the public side. Also has to be there. See, if you get a SMS, don't jump onto it. That वो message बड़ा common है कि 9:30 बजे आपका light
कट जाएगा.
So we are trying to advertise. We are trying to advertise on our website कि what is that URL, the short URL. अभी tiny URL बोलते हैं ना, छोटा URL. उससे बड़ा problem होता है आम आदमी को. तो टाइनी यूआरएल का हेडर जो स्टार्टिंग हमारा यूपीपीएसएल होना चाहिए. सी वेरी फ्यू पीपल, आई मीन एज सर सेड कि इवन द knowledgeable workforce are clicking. You know, there is a phishing, so you also try out the phishing, PHISANG, right? That phishing attacks, we tried in my earlier organization, and even IT guys, some of us fail क्योंकि उसका हुआ ना ये पे रिविजन हो रहा है, तो this is the click, so if you want to get it, ये तो click कर देगा. So if you can get a insider view, you will be prone to attacks. So these are general people, and as ma'am said कि जामतारा तक नहीं पहुँचे, so this is a learning knowledge base. तो हमारा जो knowledge base एक है कि security का knowledge base अलग होना है, हमें public dealing के साथ ये knowledge base हम spread कर रहे हैं. But definitely it is well accepted that knowledge base might not be, it is reaching the last mile, last person जो कि गलती से वो click कर रहा link, and definitely we know certain instances where people have paid, and we have tried to help out in places where we get the message. This is one thing, right? Sir said वो 40,000 का bill and all that. तो अभी जो हम कर रहे हैं इसमें क्या है, हमें 3 systems चल रहे थे revenue management के. एक हमारे अर्बन के लिए चल रहे थे 85 लाख के, करीबन 2 करोड़ का एक दूसरे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, अनदर वेंडर वाज देयर, सर्विस प्रोवाइडर हु वाज रनिंग दैट, एंड थर्ड हमारा कानपुर केस्को के लिए अलग चल रहा था. तो तीनों को मिला के अभी हम लोग एज वी आर टॉकिंग, हम लोग तीनों को लेके वी आर मूविंग ऑन टू अ सेंट्रल, वी आर गोइंग फॉर अ वन वेंडर. सो दैट मेक्स योर लाइफ ऑल्सो सिंपल, माई लाइफ ऑल्सो सिंपल, बिकॉज यू अंडरस्टैंड दैट सेम एप्लीकेशन यदि मैं एक वेंडर से उसका प्रोग्रामिंग करवा रहा हूँ फॉर द सेम सेट ऑफ प्रिंसिपल्स और द प्रोसेस, He is doing it in some method, the other fellow is doing in some other method, third fellow is doing in some other method. And as you know, all these checks and balances are the quality testing. So quality, most of the departments, IT departments who are here, at least on the government side, we know that we don't have a quality and test team in place. जो software develop कर रहा वही test कर रहा वही production में deploy भी कर रहा है. बहुत जगह तो development के बाद test and quality server जो हम बोलते हैं ना, IT people all know there is a 3-tier architecture. One is the development server, next is the test and quality server, third is the production server. We move the development directly on pressure overnight to our production. And most of us who are IT here will agree to that. So, I mean, that is the limited question is there. But I'll touch on one more subject that I think, if you permit me, it's basically we are talking on zero trust, and that is from the external network. Now, internal network is as vital as that, because if you read, Gartner or the other agencies or the organizations who give you these security reports, insider threat is also one of the biggest threat. So insider threat, if you're trusting your DBS, the database administrators, because everything is data. So data to bahar wala ko rok liye, bhitar wala bhi data you have to be able to, I mean, protect it. And there are systems, there are softwares which is able to protect, because every login to the database is a vulnerability. If you are allowing your DBS to access your database, that's a huge amount of risk going into that. Because he gets update command, insert command, and modify command, he can do havoc with your database. So there also is a very important thing, because we are all IT guys. I think I have answered more than the question ma'am has given me.
No, absolutely. No, it's a good thing that you did, sir. I mean,
we are going into
let me
that.
tell you, I'm not an IT person. I'm a lay person, and I could not think of this question, but this is a very pertinent input that you have given.
And endpoint security,
Yeah.
security हम लोग क्या करते हैं, नहीं कर रहे हैं. सबको बोलते हैं virus update कर रहे हैं. But we need to have a endpoint security whereby, if like 2 examples came out where the laptop was or the endpoint was compromised.
Yes, this
Now-
is what I was just going to say, that being ignorant is also not right for that entire system. Others can also, suffer because of that,
Yeah.
which happened in the case of Calcutta Airport or maybe Ames also.
Most of the threads that you see, some endpoint device will get compromised. Now, if you have implemented endpoint security, and if that device, either it's an endpoint, it is a BYOD, right? We all talk about BYOD, bring your own device. It can be a tablet, it can be a mobile, it can be your desktop, it can be your laptop and all that. But if our organization has implemented the endpoint security, what happens? That device can't attach itself to the network until the time it is fully secured. So that endpoint security also, so I always say security is not only one aspect, it is a layered approach. So once you implement the layered approach, like identity and access management, if I may talk further, then identity and access management, we have implemented, say, Oracle IDEM. It's not that Oracle is the only IDEM solution available in this space. There are very many identity and access. अभी क्या था, हमने identity में AKS 1 2 3 4 डाल दिया. Now, hunting out that AKS 1 2 3 4, you don't have a trace. Who is that gentleman? उसको तो दे दिया आपने. And we had hundreds of thousands of such users. Now what we have done, now we said no. We had implemented SAP. So now this rollout I'm talking, I'm using my SAP ID. So SAP ID जैसे ही use कर दिया, what is the benefit?
Oh, unique है?
Immediate benefit is, if he is getting suspended or terminated or resigned or death, immediately that fellow is struck out from your identity. If he is getting transferred, that identity and access management is also kind of protection. Otherwise, in that AKS 1 2 3 4, whatever I said, you don't even know that that fellow is holding that credential, and he has passed on that credential to somebody else. So, I mean, security is a huge subject, but let me limit up to this much.
No, sir, that was a very significant contribution you made to this dialogue, sir. I think, zero trust, again, within the system is also very, very significant. I mean, at least my learning from this discussion is that I'll be a little more kind to our IT team. And they keep reminding us कि अरे मैम आपका वो pending है तो ऐसे अच्छा परसों दिखा लेंगे. At least I would not do that. I'll take it on priority.
Thank you, ma'am.
Nini, thank you for making me understand this thing. And because, a lot of people may be educated, but they aren't cyber or internet, literate that way. For example, a common thing is like many people do not know the difference of between HTTP and HTTPS and URL and tiny URL and mini URL. All those things are, at least, there should be some platform where we could at least gather some knowledge on this thing and at least understand the jargon that you all talk in. So it's a very significant discussion that we had this evening. I would like to close by taking closing remarks from each one of you.
What I would request government, especially the Uttar Pradesh government. In fact, when I was doing a research for this particular event, I'm seeing a lot of infrastructure projects are coming, right? I'm seeing a lot of things, innovations which are happening in the power department also. I heard about the meters, the smart meters I'm seeing. Ranjan sir had mentioned about smart cities as well as the progress which is happening in the irrigation departments also. While there is so much development and there are so many programs which are happening for the citizen, but it's also the high time for the government also to look inward. When I said inward, sir has mentioned very nicely about the internal security threats. The maximum attacks are happening not from outside, but it is from internal side basically. Now considering that, it's a high time for government to come out with a zero trust strategy. The way US government has come out with a zero trust strategy for their corporates after the colonial pipe attacks. It's a high time for us, every state government, to come out with this kind of policy and enforce on every department to use this policy into their departments. Because if the government departments are safe, the public data is safe, right? Because if the public data is safe, there is a peace which will be there in the state and the progress will happen. And that will take the government towards the $1 trillion economy. So that's a humble and sincere request to the government.
Thank you, sir. Ranjan sir, your closing remarks.
Today definitely is a very, very productive day for me. Now I see this session as I now know it is a ticket to scaling our things, the low cost maintenance, less number of tenders, we can scale up with some protocols, and also the huge opportunity I can see in this to make our implementation technology based and people centric.
Absolutely. Thank you. Sir.
Yeah, first of all, I thank the organizers for having invited me to this dais. It was the last moment, so I was really unprepared. Anyway, but somehow, what I want to say is, we used to always say ki computer literate, right? Now I will say it has to be security literate, because
That's a good word.
And each one, because see, everybody who is on your network, be it your internal users, be it your external users, so they have to be made cyber literate. And we should run programs, every one of us, whosoever is in the position to do so, we should make them cyber literate, though CISO and ACISO, this is every organization has now, as per CA guidelines, at least we, power department, energy department, we are supposed to have our own CISOs and all that. But we will not achieve our goal till every individual who is working on the system are made cyber literate or security
At least to
literate.
some extent.
At least basics.
Yeah.
Not onto the technological, at least if he is clicking an email, so he should understand on the back of his mind why, should he click this or not. If he's opening up his mobile and he wants to click some URL, as I said, some at least understanding should be there. Is it required or not? If I'm sharing an OTP, do I share it or not? Basics, one pager. Might be that should be the takeaway. And there definitely zero trust is definitely a very, very innovative and latest technological, what should I say, the innovations that is coming in. And I saw them on the, you are on the Gartner quadrant as the top, on the leader quadrant for very many years. And I think you are doing a good job. And hope to, see that those are implemented at the earliest. Because security, you cannot wait. That is the basic thing. You just cannot wait for your security. You have to implement it right away. And if need be, at a breakneck speed. Today, our data is a gold mine for all of us. If we stand to lose it, we really don't know how.
We lose opportunity.
You lose
in that case,
opportunity
yeah.
and you lose, and for me in power sector, I am really seeing, because as I said, the smart meters, they will encompass each and every connectivity, including airports, including railways, including data centers, everything, the power. So there we need to protect this because it's a machine-to-machine interface. And if it's a machine-to-machine interface, it's definitely, it can be breached if not properly taken care. So there is also underlying, that area is also very, very important for us. So we are pitching it with all our resources and manpower and our technology to see that no breaches takes place at that point. And cyber literate is definitely the keyword I'll say should be there. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And my takeaway for the day is ki yes, I learned something very new. I'm a lay person. I would still repeat that because, we normally think that journalists know a lot, but that is not the case. And it was a very enlightening day. And, sir,
Like I am using a smart meter, sir.
Sir.
You mentioned machine-to-machine interface can be easily breached. So
No.
what precautions I have to take as a smart meter user?
See, basically it is the smart meter which has to protect the interfaces, not that you have to maintain it. It is from our organization side, we have to see that because these are all following some global standards, some IEC standards they follow. So those standards, when we go and get those meters checked and brought it into our system, all these security standards with the latest, it should be, because if it is maintaining a standard, we are supposed to ensure that all the upgrades and updates are passed on to you. But that is not the requirement from your side, sir. It is basically our duty to see that, because once you talk it's smart, definitely all version upgrades have to be pushed into this. You can see if you are using a smart TV, this internet TVs, Android TVs and all that, you see the updates do come in and sometimes. So here also we are transferring the updates over the air, OTA. So that is we have to ensure that. Not from your side. It is our responsibility.
very well. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
we have our director commercial also, who is also
Please,
a
sir.
subject matter expert on these smart meters. He has been handling before I have come. He is handling now also.
सर वो सब एक क्वेश्चन है, जैसे अभी आप कह रहे थे कि आपने 3 सिस्टम को एक सिस्टम करके साइबर जीरो ट्रस्ट पे लेकर आए आप इसको, ठीक है ना? अभी आपने थोड़ी देर पहले कहा अपने लेक्चर में
तीन सिस्टम को,
3 सिस्टम को एक सिस्टम करके और उस पर लेकर आए आप इसको, जिससे कि जीरो ट्रस्ट पे आ जाए ये हमारा सिस्टम पूरा, और वो वही किया जाए। अभी आने वाले दिनों में कम से कम 10 वेंडर स्मार्ट मीटर लगाएंगे और 10 ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम हो जाएंगे, 10 हमारे MDM हो जाएंगे, 10 का एक वेबसाइट से कनेक्शन होगा आपके, एक ही कंज्यूमर के पास एक ही मोबाइल एप्लीकेशन होगा या मल्टीपल भी हो सकते हैं, तो उसको कैसे टेक केयर करेंगे आप? कहते हैं अभी तो आप एक पे ले आए, फिर एक से फिर 10 पे जाएंगे हम, तो ये हमारे लिए इसको कैसे टेक केयर करेंगे?
He's the director he has put he is a director commercial in UPPCL. So very right questions, and I always believe that, and he knows that I have put a hold on single point to multi-point. We are doing it. Most of you might not be knowing that single point, जो multi-storied building है, वो single point, single point connection is to, we are converting it to multi-point. Now different tenders were floating. So I said, Baba, this is not the way. कभी 10,000. So what I'll do, I'll end up with hundreds of integrations. जितना number of integrations बढ़ाएंगे, वो आपके लिए problem है. That's because you have to, block. It's like you are having a house with 5 doors or 50 doors. 50 door होएगा तो 50 door हमको control करना पड़ेगा. So, initially we wanted to go with 5 बट अभी यहाँ मेरे को सब कुछ हम बोल नहीं सकते, बट इट्स नाउ इट हैज गॉन.
ये क्वेश्चन हम लोग डिनर के समय में
I think
लेंगे.
that because there are so many insider things which I might not be in a public forum. It's good to talk, but I'll explain him. That is separately, but definitely it's not correct. The lesser number of integrations are there. It is always better. Multiple integrations calls in for multiple security. I mean, agencies, or you have to protect that many integrations. So be it, but we have to do that. So we'll live up to the expectations as desired by the business, because we have to go as per business also. IT cannot stay away from business. That's it.
Absolutely. Well, I think we have a nice dinner, sir. We'll have this question there, sir. Okay. So for the evening, I would like to thank everybody on behalf of our organization and Zscaler, and for holding this thought-provoking discussion. Thank you, sirs. Thank you for the discussion.